Hello everyone and welcome for another video of Love and Wargames. For this video we will have a 1500 points confrontation between the Commonwealth, the Black Fleet of the Commonwealth, and an alliance of the Alliance and a crown. We will see in the fluff what it is, but it is the Task Force Mordred that is attacking New Saint-Petersburg. Let's have a look a little bit more in detail. And before we have a look at the lists that we're coming for today, we'll have a little interjection where we'll talk about the fluff of this battle.
Indeed, before we have a look at the lists, we need to explain what is going on in this battle because it is going to be important for the overall story of the narrative campaign. After a while building her power base and her independence, Admiral Stoyarenkova and her White Flotilla have finally declared independence from the Commonwealth after a rousing speech causing an uprising in New Saint-Petersburg. While the Commonwealth loyalists tried to quell the uprising in the streets of New Saint-Petersburg, the White Flotilla is sending wave after wave of attack to try to secure the Commonwealth colonization effort, and they do so with their allies from the Task Force Mordred. What we will see here is the battle between the main fleet of Task Force Mordred and the main fleet of the Commonwealth colonization efforts loyalists, and the Task Force Mordred is intercepting this fleet so that the bulk of the White Flotilla can land in New St. Petersburg and start to help the rebels to take control of the island. It's by far not the only battle that is happening here. We will, though, have a look at another battle on the side, as we usually do by now. But yeah, the main battle that we will focus on is the British of Task Force Mordred and the main forces of the Loyalists of the Black Fleet. At the same time, and this is what we will have a look now, the French I've heard that something is happening at New St. Petersburg, and they don't like the Commonwealth, but they sure do hate the White Flotilla. So they are sending a skimming fleet all the way here with some surface ships, really fast fleet to try to help the Loyalists, and actually mostly to try to annoy the White Flotilla and to attack their rear guard, but they are being intercepted by the Sultanate here. Indeed, the Sultanate has been an ally of the White Flotilla for some time now, and yeah, they both share the island of the Commonwealth colonization effort, and Admiral Stolyarenkova of the rebels just say like, okay, we'll leave you a lot more ground to establish your colonies if you help us against the Commonwealth loyalists. So the Sultanate are intercepting these meddling French, and yeah, basically the French will try to attack the White Flotilla in the back, which would be devastating with some skimming ships, and the Sultanate are establishing a defense line to try to hold them back. We will see at the end of this battle report who was victorious between the French or the Sultanate, but for now that we see what is the context of the battle, let's see what forces the Loyalists of the Commonwealth are sending and what Task Force Mordred is sending on its side to try to intercept them.
Okay, so hello everyone. So my force for Commonwealth will be composed of 3 battle fleets. First will be, as my opponent suggested, a Mosaiski battle fleet with a Mosaiski and 3 Stolters, which give me the enormous advantage that my Pravda could use their normal value even when they're crippled. The only downside of this strategy is that I don't have any Pravda, so well.
It's just for the fun.
If I had one, I could have used it, and which is really cool. I also have the mighty Paktuzov with its 3 railguns and its ability to cancel opponents' valor effects, so really powerful ship as well. And they're even more mighty, if I may say. Moskva, heavy battleship, or Dreadnought, I can't remember what.
Dreadnought.
It is Dreadnought. So we're gonna try out the Dreadnought for the first time on this channel, I think. So
yes,
we'll see what happens.
Is it an
and
escort?
it has a little escort. So
okay.
yeah. Well, and we also have a big unit of 3 no-risk heavy cruisers. So these guys are nasty. A lot of gunnery. They're really endurant with big armor. They have heavy broadsides, so really powerful ships. I always try to play them when I can. And a little unit of 5 Rurik frigates, which, well, like every frigate, they can make themselves useful with their ability to maneuver.
Yeah, they are with the seismic mortars, or you put the gunpowder?
Yeah, we're gonna try the seismic mortar.
Okay. Very well. That is it for the Black Fleet of the Commonwealth. And now for the defenders, we have, as we said, a coalition between Alliance and Crown. The main force is going to be the Crown one, with this Arc Royal leading a little task force around here. There is, of course, the Arc Royal itself. It has been equipped with heavy gun batteries loaned from the French because I just love those, and it's quite thematic. We have one squadron of 4 Excaliburs. We've seen them doing a lot of work previously, and hopefully it will be the case again here. Then a single pack of 3 Albion cruisers. 2 of those are with Guardian generators, and one has its Trident generator. No surprise, they will throw torpedoes all game long. We here have frontline brawlers. 2 Lancelot heavy cruisers with their heavy gun batteries in the front and Guardian generators in the back. And finally, this Lonely Morgana is actually going to be played as the Nautilus, which is a very powerful ship. It costs almost as much as 2 Morganas, but it has this special ability, Devil's Unlock, which allows me to cancel a Valor effect once per turn without even checking the card number. I can just discard any card and it cancels the opponent's Valor effect, so very cool. And finally, because we didn't see them long last battle report, we're gonna have a single squadron of 1 Magenta and 1 Furieux, all of them with hit lances and hit lancets. It's gonna be not as efficient because of ablative armor on the opponents, but it's always cool to bring them out. And my opponent Zongo was nice to let me use the reserve rules that every faction has now. So they will actually not be on the board at turn 1, but they will, maybe they will arrive if I make an explosive, and they will arrive automatically on turn 2. So always nice to see some French, because we just love those models. That is it for the defenders of Task Force Mordred. Deployment is done. This is going to be the battle for today, and let's have a look at the Black Fleet.
Okay, so as for my deployment, I choose to put, well, the linchpin of my fleet at the center of the board with the Dreadnought, 3 heavy cruisers, and a heavy battleship. So hopefully this will be this mass of unit will be able to take the advantage over whatever the Crown is throwing at me. Our 2 main objectives for the first turns are to deal with the Excalibur destroyer units, which are really nasty, and probably try to cripple the Arc Royal as well to gain SRS superiority. Speaking of SRS, I also put my carrier big in the back, try to be hidden as much as possible. And on the other flank, I put all my small models, so 5 frigates and 3 chronoplanes, which will use their mobility to threaten the flank of my adversary. And we'll see what happens.
On my side, I have a line of battle here. Despite what this deployment might look like, I just came here so I could be in range, like at extreme range for my torpedoes and stuff. But I will probably, for the first turn, let him come to me. And while I have long range superiority, especially with all the torpedoes. Here I have these Excalibur that have Vanguard. They will make a little movement at the beginning of the first turn, first of all. And there is also with them these Albion with all their torpedoes. I will probably try to damage the Ecranoplanes, which are the biggest damage dealers. I might be able to throw some torpedoes at them before they devastate my whole flank. I had initiative, by the way. What do I have here? My Nautilus, hidden, very well hidden, because it's my only source of Fortunes of War, and unlike the Partousov is not that tanky, so I'm really trying, if I don't finish off the Chronoplan and it goes bad, I want him to be hidden and not destroyed from the first Commonwealth activation. My Arc Royal also here, so he can throw his SRS token at the first turn, but I plan to use him quite conservatively, at least for this first turn. And he's accompanied by these two Lancelot heavy cruisers that will also go to this brawling at the center. If I charge head-on like Arc Royal and two Lancelots against this, I will not emerge victorious, so I will let him come to me. And I will try not to go in a point-blank brawling where the Commonwealth would win. Finally, I have, of course, these beautiful French models in reserve. They will try to arrive at the end of the first turn. So I have initiative. He could not seize it because he did not have less activation than me. So let's go for the movement of the vanguards. And my first activation. The first activation has been the Albion. These Excalibur were quite chill with their Vanguard action because I really wanted to be out of range for the Cryoblast of the Partousov, which could wipe out the entire unit in one go. The Albion came here, and what they're going to do, they're going to throw all their torpedoes with turrets and not turrets on these Stoletovs. It is, I had the choice of maybe splitting the attacks or maybe not, but I really want to make sure at least one of them dies, and it was too risky otherwise. I need to have at least one of them down to reduce the opponent's firepower. So 26 dice with homing. There is only two counters that he just rolled, and yeah, he's well dead. Good. Activation of the Commonwealth. The Partousov is going forward. He really wanted to throw some dices here, some blast, etc. But railguns are not very efficient against Mass 1 with high citadel, and the blast was too short. So he declared the blast here on these two Albion. This one I moved a little bit further so he could not make a blast there. And then he decided to also declare heavy firepower, 3 railguns on this Albion, and torpedoes are going in the Excaliburs. The thing is that I countered with the Nautilus. I can do it once per round. I counted his heavy firepower because, yeah, that would hurt. And I actually spent 7 Guardian points to almost cancel the Cryoblast. He has only 1 die, and we will see if I should have spent 8. Oh, sustained? Ah, right. Ouah, ça va. Yeah, it was sustained, devastating, hazardous, so it was really important to cancel this. Yeah, good investment for this first turn of Guardians. We are going now to the railgun, and there is a question that we don't know, is that if heavy firepower was cancelled by a card, do you still have to link all your weapons together, or can you say like, okay, well, I was countered and then I want to shoot separately, like one by one? We're gonna play it as, one by one, because the heavy, especially for the railguns, if you have to use them linked, it loses a lot of punch, so it is going to throw 3 times 8 dices. My citadel goes down to 10.
Yeah. First one.
Oh, putain.
And we have 2 explosives.
3 explosives.
3 explosives, thank you.
Okay, that is going to be a critical.
6. No, it's only 9.
Oh, only 9. Woo, that was very close. Okay, 1 point of damage.
One
Yeah,
point of damage.
okay, second attack. Ah, that's why we have... Okay, 1 explosive. And that's it, 4, not even a point of damage. And the last railgun, shooting. 1 explosive, it's already 6, it's already a point of damage. And that's it, 2 points of damage. Yeah, and good use of cancelling the heavy firepower. Now, the torpedoes of the Partousov going on this lefternmost Excalibur. Heavy torpedoes. I see 2 explosives, yes. That is not...
7.
That is 7 hits. I have 7 dices, 4 from SDV and 3 from its little friends around. Let's have a look. Putain, why I don't do this when I attack? I have a card that could save it, but no, it's only 1 point of damage, so I will let it be like this. Putain, I say, just appreciate the roll and that it's wasted.
Sure.
The Excaliburs are on the move. They stayed in range of this Trident generator on the Albion, and they're going to answer on the Partusov. They do have Giant Slayer, and I made a few maneuvers to try to optimize on top of the broadsides and the gun batteries to optimize the torpedoes. One torpedo went on the Rurik, it was fine roll, but he really cancelled a lot, no damage. And now 14 dices on this guy. He's gonna have 6 dices of defense, 14 dice of torpedoes with homing, so that's gonna be hopefully good. 4 dices with homing thanks to the Trident generator, it's actually 5. 4 criticals and another critical, explosive, sorry, it's not an critical, it's an explosive. Let's see how many defenses he does. He cancels only 1, that is not enough, that is 1 Stoletov gone. Oh my god, it's already gone, how fast he is. That was a good roll, that's what we wanted to do with the torpedoes. The Excalibur broadside, which is a 3-1 weapon, it was like 6 dices, and it did manage, thanks to good rolls, and especially thanks to Giant Slayers, to do 1 point of damage on the Partusov. Now, it's gonna be 12 dices, twice as much, for the gun batteries. It's 5-2 weapons usually, but now it's gonna be 5-1 because of ablative armor. I think it's gonna be 8, 10, 12. Not enough for the Citadel, but that's another point of damage off the Partusov. The big unit of Norilsk is coming in for the kills. They are going to shoot at long range 3 of their forward heavy gun batteries on this Arc Royal. It was supposed to be 14 dices because it got +2 from focus gunnery. I used 4 generator points going down to 10 dices. He also declared quite a few weapons. I'm not sure what goes where, but basically broadsides go...
2 heavy broadsides on this guy.
Yeah.
And 2 heavy gun batteries and 2 gun batteries on this guy.
Okay, so this guy is very dead.
Probably.
And this guy, we'll see. What do you start with?
We start with the Arc Royal.
Arc Royal, 10 dices. So he used the command card to reroll any dice. So that is a very good card. And he rolls better. 2 explosives.
And +2 explosives.
That is 11. That is going to be 1 point of damage on the Arc Royal, but not enough to be a critical damage. All the gun batteries, heavy or small, going on this 4 Excalibur. That's a lot of dice, but no explosives. But it's, yeah, I think it's already dead.
Yeah.
It has 12. Yeah, it's dead, it's dead. Okay. So this guy goes down, and now 9 dices of broadside. And that is going to be, yeah, 1 hull point. It is now the turn of the Nautilus to come forward and use its rear torpedo salvo. I'm just kidding. It's just going to use its front torpedo salvo on the Partusov. It is going to be 11 dices with homing because it is in range of the Trident generator. 11 dices with homing. Just to know, we changed the dices, now it's Zongo's dice that we use.
It's true, it's true.
So 5 explosives. And another explosive. Okay. The Nautilus did, after the defense, 18 hits, which is 2 points of damage on the Partusov and a critical damage. Let's have a look what it's gonna be. Generator offline. Oh, no Cryoblast on the next turn. This is what I like. He'll probably jury-rig it, but still nice. The Stoletovs are charging. This guy made a little charge forward. He decided not to use spotter because he had to use combat air patrol from the Mozhaisky to put some aircraft. And now combat air patrol divides by 2 how many aircraft you can send. Well, actually, you need to use your cripple value. So he decides to do the running attack anyway. Katyushas are going on the Albion. And all the torpedoes and the little rocket battery are going on this Excalibur that is, for now, intact. Now we do look at the Katyusha with rocket barrage. It's going to be 9 + 2, 11 dices.
Sustain.
Bah putain.
Ah, là, pour le coup...
Usual. I need, if I want to not have a critical damage, I need at least 3 counters. And just what I need. So that's gonna be only 1 point of damage. Whew, in the worst case, I had a card to do something with those. But yeah, 1 point of damage on the Albion. Now the torpedo is going on the intact Excalibur. Torpedo salvo. 1 explosive. No, good. And the rocket, which is much better. Much better. 10 exactly. I have 5 dices. Yeah, barely 1 point of damage. Now is the turn of the Lancelots activating. You see that they have disorder because they both had to do full reverse, which canceled their drift, and I had to. Why? Because I wanted to be able to shoot on these Norilsks here. However, I did not want to be in range of the Moskva, which has a movement of 9 with hammer sweep and then a threat range of 20 at closing. So I couldn't go further than actually this, like I was pretty much like this. And so I will get disorder, and they will see different Norilsk, because they will not be able to combine their firepower. However, I will not be at closing range of the Moskva for the next turn, and this guy can really pack a punch. And when he will activate, he will not have optimal targets in front of him. This Lancelot is using its forward heavy gun batteries and gun batteries to attack here. The gun battery is only +1 because of ablative armor, so it's 6-1, and that's going to be 8 dices. 7 dices, sorry, just a little blank for a second. So 7 dices of gun batteries. And actually the small gun battery cannot link at a long range, so that is my mistake, but it didn't change anything. And now the other Lancelot on the Partusov, only 6 dices because no linking whatsoever. Woo, good defense roll, but no damage. The torpedoes did nothing on the Partusov, and 1 point of damage on this Norilsk, which was barely on the nose. And now, just a reminder, reparations, not the jury-rigged reparations, but the classic repairs, happen at the end of your activation. So this Lancelot will try to repair its disorder. I need 1 counter, absolutely not. And the other one, neither. Time for the Ruriks to shine. Some disorders because they had to do this to not take the iceberg in front of them if they wanted to make this little maneuver. They're gonna shoot all of their seismic mortars on this Albion. Seismic mortars usually ignore shield generators, which is important for them, but since this is guardian generators, technically we can use the guardian point. So I had 5 points left. I decided to use it on the Albion because I really want him to stay alive a little bit longer. So that's gonna be 7 dices. With not specific roll, but I take a disorder if it makes a point of damage. 1 explosive, another explosive. That is going to be a point of damage. Okay, and he is crippled. Okay, but at least no generator offline, which is what I really feared on this guy. Now is the turn of the Arc Royal. So some interesting things happened here. First of all the SRS tokens are going on the Partusov. I really wanted to put pressure on him. The Crown SRS were usually better used defensively, but I still didn't know where he was going to attack. He's probably going to attack those Excalibur with SRS, but anyway, they're going to die next turn as soon as the Partusov activates. So I decided to instead play a little bit more offensively. Another thing interesting is that I declared full reverse because I did not want to be in range of the Moskva. I don't want to be at closing range, otherwise you would use heavy firepower and just devastate the Arc Royal. Here at least it will be fine. I am at long range for the Norilsk as well, so 6 dices per weapon. I used heavy firepower, which he could not counter. He doesn't have enough good cards anymore. I spent a very good card for this. And in the end, I have +1 to my lead value of the heavy gun batteries thanks to Royal Engineers, which makes the lead value from 6 to 7 times 3 because of heavy firepower is gonna be 21 dices on the Norilsk, -2 because of ablative armor. That is going to be 9-10 dices on the Norilsk. Ooh. Nope, that is very bad. I really wanted it to work. Wait a second. I decided to use the command override that I got from the British support battle fleet. I had to. So that is going to be another roll. I have to re-roll everything. A little bit better. After this command override, I decide to use this Valor effect, allowing me to re-roll everything. It's already enough for critical, but I'm actually fishing for the catastrophic explosion. Let's see if I was right to do that. Not bad. Ouais. We were discussing that that is a lot to make of damage, but I had to use Common Override and discard because the first roll was really bad. Now let's have a look. 5 explosives. Another explosive. Good. That is 7 points of damage, 5 normal plus 2 from the catastrophic explosion, and 1 little critical. Maybe it will be one shot. Eh ben oui. Sturgeonium Flare. He goes forward but takes 1 point of damage. 1 no-risk. No, putain, that was a very good shot from the Arc Royal. The Moskva is finally coming forward. It is in long range for all its target because I took disorder token everywhere. What he did, it shot his seismic mortars on this Lancelot there doing nothing. Now he declared torpedoes and his heavy gun batteries on the Arc Royal. He used heavy firepower, which I cannot counter because Devil's own luck of the Nautilus can be used only once per round. First he's gonna use 18 dices of heavy gun batteries, hoping for shredded defenses, maybe. Ok, 2 explosives, not the best roll. Putain, that is not a great roll. Bah, something. Okay, 1 point of damage on the Arc Royal. Now the torpedoes, still also on the Arc Royal. Right, better roll. These 3 explosives, okay. I have 6 dices of defense, he did 16 hits. If I don't do anything, that is going to be a critical damage and 2 points of hull going away for the Arc Royal. I really need at least 1 counter. Please, please, please. Oh, yeah. I was scared for a second. Okay, that is going to be 1 point of damage for the Arc Royal. And now the roll that can change everything. If I make an explosive here, I give him some mojo. If I make an explosive, I can bring my activation there. So the Magenta and the Furieux. It can come, and since it is going to be an explosive, it can come even from his side of the board. So this Mozhaisky will be really in trouble if I make an explosive. But again, I will make an explosive. Let's roll. No. Oh, it was right there. It was right there. Okay, we'll wait for the second turn. Last activation of this turn, the Mozhaisky moved forward and sent its rocket battery. It was barely in range on the Lancelot. It almost did actually critical damage and 2 points of damage. But no, it's a Citadel 13, the Lancelot, not 12.
Oh yeah.
So it was not never in danger, but still this Lancelot. Still this Lancelot saved the day with some good defensive roll and only suffered 1 hull point of damage. Now, the Mozhaisky sent all its SRS token in defense of the Borodino, and he's gonna have 31 dices to try to intercept my aircrafts. I'm afraid there is not gonna be many of them left. The Partusov and its escorting SRS token removed 4 attacking SRS token. They go from 10 to 6. It is still double the mass, which means that it does trigger weight of fire. So this is going to be 18 dices from the 6 SRS token with the weight of fire, rerolling blanks, and also piercing. Let's have a look what happens. 2 blanks from weight of fire, 4 explosives, and another explosive, and another explosive, and oh man, what was it? Okay. First activation of the second turn. What happened? During repaired happened on the Partusov. He repaired his generator offline, hoping to do a cryoblast, but he did not get the initiative anyway. And I activated first my Arc Royal. All the SRS token, all 10 of them, are going now on the Moskva. And I declared heavy firepower with a good card at 57. And I decided not to counter it, kind of like abandoning the Partusov. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna roll all of this. There is no specific roll, actually, just gunnery. Just 30 dices, thanks to heavy firepower and the Royal Engineers. My bad, I forgot to remove 2 dices for ablative armor, so I removed 1 of the explosive. That is then going to be still 6 explosives despite that. And there's gonna be 2 more explosives. And things are going bad for the Commonwealth. I used this card for a double activation. He could try to counter it. except only with the Partusov, which was just sunk. So yeah, when it rains, it pours. So I'm going to activate these Excalibur before they are destroyed, so they can start to do a little bit of damage left and right. Probably the main target is going to be the Stoletovs, and targets of opportunity are going to be the Ruriks. And for this double activation, my Excalibur are charging forward. They are out of the range of the Trident, but anyway they have Giant Slayer, so they're still rolling blanks. They declare their torpedoes on the Moskva. The single simple gun batteries are all linking on this guy. It's going to be 15 dices. I'm hoping for the Citadel. And I'm also going to declare the broadside on this little guy. Because the Ruriks with ablative armor at this range, I would waste my firepower on the Rurik. Which is a weird thing to say about a frigate, but yeah, I'm really going to try to finish the Stoletov, plus it removes him an activation. The Excalibur managed, just with the broadside, to do 2 points of damage on the Stoletov, and their gun batteries, anyway, even without rolling additional explosives, did 12, so that killed the Stoletov anyway. And then the torpedoes did 16 hits on the Moskva, because they are in closing range, good. However, fine defense roll, transform these 2 damage and 1 critical into a single hull point of damage. Still fine. And now I spent a lot of resources to do this, but I'm quite happy with it. I removed 2 activation before you could start playing. Very good. And it is now the time for the Commonwealth to rise. Now the Norilsk are charging forward. They are declaring literally everything on the Arc Royal, which defended himself with the Guardian. We'll see in a minute. This guy had a right broadside on this Excalibur, doing 1 point of damage. Good for him. And here there was supposed to be 31 dices of gun battery, heavy gun batteries. I used a lot of Guardian points. He's now at 23 for the heavy gun batteries, and the broadsides were at 15 dices, reduced by 5, it's going to 10. I'm almost out of the Guardian points. I will use the rest on the Moskva, but that should be good. I'm really trying to avoid the criticals, or in the case of the heavy gun batteries, the double critical. Let's start to have a look at the broadsides. So rerolling the blues, good that has been reduced. 2 explosives. And another explosive. And that's it. That's going to be... 1 whole point of damage. Good that it was reduced. And now the big attack of the Norilsk. 23 dices with heavy gun battery. Reminder, the Arc Royal is not lumbering, so it does not reroll blanks against him. He had this, it wanted to use his card to reroll all the other dices, but I used Devil's Unluck to cancel this, and let's remember that Devil's Unluck, you don't need to beat the number of the opponent's card, so just with this little 4 card, I did manage to cancel it. He still has a lot of explosives, 5 explosives, I want to prevent him from having... Okay. The Arc Royal is already crippled with this, and he has -2 to the Citadel and to the speed. And he goes to the yellow. So the speed doesn't matter, but -2 Citadel hurts. The Albion, looking for target of opportunity, moved here. They're going to send all their torpedoes, which have homing, on the Moskva. The broadsides went on the Rurik, doing nothing, 0 point of damage. And now I have this Trident generator that can shoot at closing. I decided to go on him because it's piercing and magnetic. Magnetic would be fun on them, but I'm actually going to try to go for those. They have 12 Citadel, -3 because of piercing is going to be 9. I'm looking for 1 kill. Ooh. Explosive. Eh ben, I think it's done. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Exactly what I was needed. 9 hits, 1 Rurik down. The bet was successful. The torpedoes are going to be at 26 of torpedoes because this guy is crippled. I'm linking with another guy so I don't lose dices. Thanks to Zongo for the explanation about who to lead with. He's the math teacher, not me. I'm going to roll 26 dices with homing because of the Trident generator. Let's go. Ooh.
C'est nul ça.
Wait. Homing. Yeah, not great, not great. 14 hits mean only 1 point of damage on the Moskva. It has 8 hull points left. The brave Ruriks are bearing the way to the Moskva. They are less than 10 inches from this guy at least, and this guy as well. 3 of them are gonna link their light broadsides here, doing quite a few damage, hoping for a citadel hit. And a single Rurik will shoot its light broadside here. All the seismic mortars are going in the Albion. First, the 4 lonely from this guy, he needs only 5 or 6. 5 hits. Rerolling counters. They're good. Yeah, that doesn't work. This guy is still alive. Now, the 3 Ruriks there are linking their broadsides, hoping to sink this guy. He needs only 10 hits because there is only 2 hull points left. Rerolling blues. Yeah, it's already good? Okay, it's already dead. And now this seismic mortar going on the already crippled Albion. He does 10 hits. The crippled Albion has citadel of 11, so that's going to be only 1 point of damage. And he goes red because it's a hazardous weapon. Now is the turn of these 2 Lancelots. They moved like this, staying in cohesion. It was quite hard. I'm gonna declare the heavy broadsides of this Lancelot on this guy. He's at point blank, so he's gonna give reroll of the blues to both of them, even if this guy is not at point blank. All of the heavy gun batteries and gun batteries are gonna be declared on this Norilsk further away, because he is in a closing range for everything. He has ablative armor, but still. And I move this guy this way, so he has a little line of sight on the Mojaiski, which is going to be fine, because this way both of them can declare their torpedoes, and torpedoes ignore the effect of obscured, so I will not be affected by obscured, which is fine. So broadside, heavy gun batteries, torpedoes. Let's roll. So for the broadside, it's going to be 12 dices, -1 because of ablative armor, rerolling blues, and 4 blues. And that is 5 explosives. 5 explosives. And 2 more explosives. So 2 additional explosives. Okay. This very good roll gives me 3 hull points of damage on this Norilsk. And something. Shredded defenses. Okay. Now, 14 dices from the heavy gun batteries and the gun batteries. He has ablative armor, so that reduces my firepower indeed. 14 dices, no rerolls of any kind, but 2 explosives, might be a point of damage. Another explosive. Okay. So that is going to be 2 points of damage with 13 hits and a critical. And navigation lock for this guy that really... Yeah, solid derrière. Yeah. Navigation log for this poor guy running at the island. He will probably need a jury repair at some point if he wants to escape the island. And the torpedoes, unfortunately, it was a disastrous roll. No point of damage even before counting the defenses. So that's it for the Albion. They still did quite a lot of work. Sorry, they were Lancelots. That's it for the Lancelots. They did quite a lot of work. My last surface activation before the French arrive is going to be the Nautilus. I gave him a disorder so he could make full reverse and really align himself well. He has elite engineer repair cruise something, so he has more dices to repair, so it's fine. This Norilsk was supposed to have shredded defenses. However, my opponent has a Valor card that he just used to remove a critical effect, and of course he's going to remove these shredded defenses. Still, I'm having 12 dices with heavy torpedoes, and next turn, something bad is gonna happen here, if I can keep the initiative. So let's have a roll, 12 dices, without homing, but it's still, I got an explosive there. Give me another explosive, and okay, fine. Let's have a look at the defense roll. Okay, so he has 5 dices of defenses. I have 13 hits. He needs to do at least 2 counters to prevent the double damage and critical. One.
Non, ça, monsieur, c'est un double parce que le dé est cassé.
Yeah. This is a collector edition special dices. Is it? It is a double actually. It is. I thought you were joking. Okay. It is a double counter, so it works. It works. Only 1 point of damage for this Norilsk. And by the way, the repairs of the Nautilus, 2 for the mass and 2 for the veteran repair crews. Check the name. And that is just what I needed. Perfect. The Moskva is charging forward. Is unfortunately for him not in range yet for his sonic generator with the torrent template. It's gonna be for turn 3 if he makes it. What happened here is gonna declare the broadside at point blank here, 1 heavy gun battery here at point blank still, and 2 of them on the little Arc Royal and torpedoes. I don't know where. We will see later, but yeah, he's basically shooting everything in this general direction. Heavy broadside on this Lancelot here in the middle, rerolling blues, rerolling counters, good for him. And okay, I see 2 explosives, yes. And alright, that's gonna be a point of damage, and maybe even a critical. Yeah, by the way, critical. And the critical damage is a magazine explosion. So that's going to be another point of damage here, here, and there. Maybe it's a bit far. Yeah. Okay. So still 2 points of damage from this critical. Now, a single heavy gun battery with focused gunnery going on him is going to be 8 dices. Okay, yeah, +1, yeah, right, +1 for the escort token. So there's going to be 9 dices. And that is 2 explosives, good roll, good roll. And another explosive. Alright, there's going to be a critical as well.
Yeah.
And let's roll for the critical hit. Let's have a look. And another explosion, but this time it's only for him because he is too far than the other one. Still, extra point of damage. Now the torpedo on this poor Lancelot that is on the brink of being crippled. 1 explosive. And another explosive. And another, yeah, he's crippled. Yeah, I have 5 dices of defenses. And yeah, removing 2, that's probably gonna be a point of damage. 11 hits, so that is a point of damage. And this guy is crippled, he has 4 hull points left. Final shooting of the Moskva. 8 dices, thanks to the Guardian generators, on the Arc Royal. Heavy gun batteries. 1 explosive. And yeah, the Arc Royal is at 8 of armor, even while crippled. It is its citadel that goes from 16 to 13, and with this it goes to 11, so these planes are gonna hurt. And now I have used all my activations. It's now going to be the turn to see if the French arrive. I can still try to roll it, even if I can automatically when they come, because if I make an explosive, I can come from his side of the table, otherwise I can come from the other 3. And that is going to be a blank, and should be no, but this battle fleet allows, the generic battle fleet for every nation allows to count this as automatic heavy hit. So my French are gonna come from there. The French have arrived! Yeah, they really are better with this roll. So they, the Magenta and the Furieux attached, arrive directly at point blank and in range for the Furieux to use its Legionnaire assault drop pods, which is the coolest rule of the entire game, to do a boarding. Probably on the Moskva, we'll have a look. Yeah, on the Moskva for sure. It's cooler to attack the enemy flagship. What's gonna happen? The Magenta is gonna declare his rolling heavy broadsides on the Norilsk and on the Mojaiski, and all of them are gonna link everything together on the Moskva. I'm gonna try to make a heavy firepower, and I'm not gonna try, I'm gonna do it. And it's gonna be at 37, but doesn't really matter, it does not have a Partousov anymore. We will prepare all the dices and see how it's going. So, heavy firepower brings me to 45 dices, -7 for ablative armor. That is going to bring a lot of pain on the Moskva. 38 dices with devastating hazardous. Zongo, the math teacher, told me it was more efficient to make 2 different attacks, but I just want to roll a lot of dices all at once. So let's have a look what happened. Let's remember it is devastating. Okay, that is only 3 explosives. A bit underwhelming for the number of dices. And that's gonna be it. Let's count. So that is 35 hits. A bit underwhelming, as was noted by Zongo, because 38 dices with devastating should do a lot more, but still fine because I did a catastrophic explosion. There's gonna be 4 points of damage plus 2 from the catastrophic explosion. It's already 6. I need 1 more point of damage to cripple him, and if I cripple him, he will have less defense against the SRS. I'm really hoping for magazine explosion, for example. That's what I just need to ask. Everybody's taking damage. He's taking damage. He's taking damage. Everybody's taking damage. Yeah, when you take this amount of hit lances, you will blow up somehow. And I was wrong, actually. He had 8 hull points left, this little Moskva. So even with the magazine explosion, he still has 1 hull point left. Catastrophic explosion, though, he loses his escort token. And we will try to do a boarding. The Furieux is leading, sending drop pods on the Moskva. Very cool assault. I have 13 dices in boarding. He has 22 dices in defenses. I really wish he were crippled. That is going to be 4 explosives. And fine, let's see the defense roll. 15 hits for the boarding, and let's have a look at the defense roll. Oh, not bad. I see 10. I think it's égalité. So that is 14 in defenses, which means we both take a point of disorder, but it's also hazardous. So the equals
hazardous die deals 1 for 1
of morale
when you
right, right.
1 point of damage.
Right. So hazardous is not used here. It's not triggered. So he only goes to black, and that's it. End of the second turn, we did the interception. He removed 1 token from the Partusov, and unfortunately, it was not enough for me to remove even 1, which is sad because it would remove weight of fire. But it did not. We will both have weight of fire. He has 24 dices with piercing, rail, which means that from 11 I go to Citadel 9. That is going to hurt.
No, from 13 to 11.
Yeah, this is 13 to 11, and you have rail. So that is going to be Citadel 9 on this poor boy, and armor 8 Citadel 9. He almost has less Citadel than armor. Weight of fire as well.
Let's go.
Weight of fire. No blank.
Use less, but I'm gonna use a card.
Oh my god, he's using a card. What is it gonna do? It's gonna reroll. Okay, full reroll. He really wants to sink the Arc Royal.
I'm gonna sink at least 1 of your ship.
Yeah, I lost 2 Excalibur already.
Yeah, sure, but that's not the same thing.
Okay, 4 explosives to roll. And yeah, 2 more explosives, and that's it. That's gonna really hurt. I think we are at the catastrophic explosion already. Okay, well, unfortunately, with all this, it is obviously a catastrophic explosion. It actually tripled the Citadel. Maybe even 4 times close, no? It was how many hits? Almost 4 times the Citadel, which means anyway it's going to be catastrophic explosion. 2 hull points plus 4 hull points from the armor, which is 6 hull points. He has 8 left. Let's see what's going to be the critical and generator offline.
Yeah, another roll for piercing actually.
Yeah, another roll for piercing.
Which is
And
2 more hull points.
Yes.
Another catastrophic explosion, so you're dead.
Yeah, he loses the last. Oh my god, the Arc Royal is sunk with all these catastrophic explosions. No. 27 dices from all the French aircrafts going on the Moskva. 27 dices with weight of fire, rolling blanks. I need to do 32 2 hits to trigger a catastrophic explosion and sinking it, because he has 6 hull points left, 5 of them being crippled. So let's have a look. If I succeed, I will roll here. Not bad as a start. Weight of Fire allows me to reroll those ones. So that is going to be 6 explosives. And that's it. Let's count and see if we reach the threshold. And that is exactly 32 hits, which means 4 hull points of damage and a catastrophic explosion. And I have to roll if it's... I don't know, he already has a magazine explosion, so he cannot explode again. But that is it. The Moskva is gone. That is going to be the end of turn 2. We're gonna stop here because now the game is pretty much decided. These guys are gonna come here. The Nautilus is gonna charge. These poor Norris, it would be very nice to see. And of course, these guys are gonna wipe out the center, plus the Lancelot. So, victory of the Crown, but the Commonwealth held its ground very well. We will go to the debriefing time, but to say what we think went well, what went less well in the lists. But yeah, very fun game. We hope you enjoyed. Before we go to the debriefing, though, let's have a look at the consequences on the narrative campaign map of this victory of the Task Force Mordred.
The fleet of Task Force Mordred, composed of British and French ships, did manage to push back the loyalists of the Commonwealth. At the same time, we can see that the French forces that were trying to attack the White Flotilla in the rear were also pushed back by the Sultanate. However, the Sultanate did suffer tremendous losses. The fleet that they sent as interception was basically destroyed, but they did secure the southern flank of the Commonwealth colonization effort. This means that there will be no reinforcements for the loyalists, and the White Flotilla can supply troops without having its convoy attacked. And this leads us to the largest switch for any outcome of a battle so far, because as we can see, after this vicious civil uprising, we can almost call it a coup d'etat, the Commonwealth colonization effort is no more. It has been absorbed by the White Flotilla. What is left of the Loyalist fleet has been pushed back to Europe, to the east, and no doubt that more Commonwealth Loyalist fleet will come back later to get vengeance against these rebels. But for now, the White Flotilla is confirmed as the main power in the Archipelago Alpha. Task Force Mordred, with its French and British ships, has been given this island that was being colonized for themselves, which is their reward for their help in this little uprising, while the Sultanate also gained a lot. Like, they had a little beachhead here, and all this terrain in green here has been given to the Sultanate so they can establish a strong colony here. The French, unfortunately, did not win a lot. They do keep expanding inward here after this battle, but they are still pressed by the Imperium here. The Imperium is still fighting a battle against the Commonwealth and the Alliance, but probably now that the Commonwealth is a little bit recovering from its short but brutal civil war, probably the Imperium will want to take advantage of this to try to make some significant gains. Anyway, this is the result of this battle on the narrative campaign. Now, let's have a look at the debriefing.
So, that is the end of this fight between the Task Force Mordred and the Commonwealth. Victory of the Crown, but it was quite close actually. It was, even though the French came at a point where I thought that really turn 2 I was gonna wipe out the Russians, they really had quite a few ships left at the end, the Norilsk, the Rig, so it's not an overwhelming victory of the Crown. Before we go, what did you think of the game, of your list? How did it go?
Well, my list probably wasn't optimal.
Yeah,
But,
maybe.
did it probably too fast.
Zongo
He
likes
didn't
to,
take the time to really
Yeah.
think about the combo.
he likes to arrive and saying like, yeah, well, I need a list.
Yeah, I'm kind of a messy person, so it's completely my fault. But and I made some mistakes about my movements and targeting, so
Yeah.
probably deserve to lose.
But he's a bit sick these days, so
Yeah, I'm
That explains.
that's why he could be.
yeah, that's why I won this time.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad for the general outcome of the game. I've always said that the Commonwealth was quite an OP fiction, so
Yeah.
I lost with them, so probably
So maybe-
I should have shut up, or I don't know. But yeah, nice game anyway.
Yeah, always fun.
Congratulations for your victory.
Thanks. And it was very interesting. The one thing I noticed about the Commonwealth this time is that the Moskva is a bit overpriced for what it does.
Yeah, probably.
like okay, it has seismic mortar, which is fine, but you have those on every single Rubik you take. Maybe take more Rubiks next to your board, you know, if you want these. And he has this very cool looking, at least in theory, sonic generator, but it's a big ship, quite slow. Like it's a bit hard to get to where you need to be. Or maybe with a new orbit you will be able to use the reserve row. But again, like this means that for the first turn you don't have your Moskva, which has long range firepower, so you don't either want to come out at point blank. So it's a bit weird.
Yeah, you don't know what you want to do with this ship.
Yeah.
Maybe the solution is to play it with 3 attached Rubiks, so you have 5 mortars.
Ah, bah oui.
But it's
Yeah.
it's really expensive.
Yeah,
It's
but
almost
yeah.
400 points.
Yeah, but then it's good. Like 5 seismic mortar. Now you. Ah, yeah.
Yeah, but then you have this thing with the shockwave generator that wants to be in really close to the enemy, and the seismic mortars that are
That is
long range
true.
firepower. So it's a bit
Yeah,
awkward.
it's a bit worried at the moment. We will see what happens with the next Orbat of the Commonwealth. It should come, depends when we release this video, it should come in the coming weeks. Maybe it's already out by the time we release this. In this case, well, you know better than us if it's good or not, the most banal. But yeah, it is the one unit that we tried here, and it underperformed. So yeah, who did not underperform this round was the Arc Royal.
Yeah.
I was extremely happy with it.
Excellent.
Last time, like a few videos ago, you saw the victory, which was a bit meh. Like I tried to use it with torpedoes, and it was really not that great.
I think it's really worth paying those 50
Yeah,
extra
it
points.
has this shield generator in the back. It has these 3 heavy gun batteries that can link easily. You can, and it just it had inspirational. We forgot. I
inspirational,
forgot about it.
we always
forget
forgot
about
it,
it.
yeah.
One dice, like you forget
Plus,
about
you
one
have
die.
1 extra point of citadel, which can make it fit.
Yeah, absolutely true. Absolutely true. So yeah, a very good ship, the Arc Royal. We'll love it, and everything works great. The French, even though they did not do as much damage as I would have hoped, they were still very efficient. We really see that the French, when you can put them in reserve with this new generic nation battle fleet, they really come into their own, because that's exactly what you want to do with Magentas and Furio. Furio a bit sad that their boarding is not as good.
Well, it's only 11 dice, so yeah.
It's like you can, like yes, you have Azalus, but to trigger the Azalus, you need to win the boarding first of all, and you're really not sure to do this. So maybe
if it had elite crew or something
like elite crew or sustained or something to boost, because Legionnaire is supposed to be good. Otherwise, like very very fun game as always. The game, I think the game Dystopian Wars in general is in a very good spot right now. It's very fun. It's quite balanced. Yes, some factions are above others, like Imperium, for example.
but it's really difficult to make a balanced game
make
with
it balanced.
7 different factions.
Yeah. Today, the day we record this video, there is a new Empire Orbat that seems very well balanced now. So we're very excited to, in a very soon video, make a Empire battle report. But yeah, we really enjoy making this game. We hope that you enjoyed watching this video. If you did not subscribe yet, then subscribe so you're sure to see the other battle reports or tacticas or unboxing videos that we will make. Please give us a thumbs up. It really helps for the YouTube algorithm to see us and offer our content to other war gamers, so we can grow the community. And as always, all your comments are very welcome. What we can improve, what kind of battle or faction you want to see in the next battle reports. We are very willing to listen to the community, so let us know what you like. And in the meantime, until the next video, keep spreading the love all around you. Bye.